Hi guys, and welcome to Journey to Journeyman number 10. First of all, I'd like to once again thank everybody for all the comments, the tips. Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I read every single one and I try my best to respond to everyone. Thank you so very, very much. On this episode, I make what is for me the most technically challenging part that I've ever made. It's number one, almost as big as you can make on my machine, but two, there's a tolerance in there, one of them that's a plus or minus 1/1000th of an inch. So it really was technically challenging too, but I managed to do it. And let's take a look at the order of operations. Well, the first thing we're going to do is get it squared up, then make the hole in the center, machine the raised lip, bore the hole, flip it around, bore the other one, and then drill the 4 holes, and then bow to the ladies. It's probably my inexperience, but I got my metal in and there's a mill scale on it. And the deal is this this 1/2 inch is right around 495, 490, something like that. There's a, on this dimension here, on that thickness dimension, there's a, a 5/1000th tolerance. So I don't know if I get the mill scale off of there, whether I'll be able to use this or not. So I'm going to try to get that off of there and see what it measures. As I'm cutting, it's getting real clear to me that there's no way I'll be able to take that off of there and still keep that part within its tolerance. So I know I'm gonna have to buy a thicker piece of metal, and I ordered it. And right now all I'm going to try to do is try to figure out how to get a good surface finish, so when the new part comes in, I've got the tooling figured out. It's taken quite a bit of effort to cut, so I stuck that baby into back gear, and that will allow a lot more torque to be able to cut that 1018 coal roll. As I'm waiting for my new piece of steel to come in, there's a couple things here that I'm going to try to do. I'm trying different tools, different grinds on them, different angles, different speeds, just to try to get a good finish. And I know that the tool post is turned around the wrong way, but this is right at the ragged edge of what my lathe can do, so I have to be creative on how I can get the tool out there to cut the whole way. And the deal is my tool post won't turn all the way one way, but it will turn all the way the other way just because of the way it fits on there. And so that's why you see that. Well, you remember I show the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, here's the bad. Yeah, I got that too close to the chuck and whacked it. It just marred it up a little bit, but it still works. And guys, I love that indicator holder. It was just so valuable in this build. It was incredible how it allowed me to get my accuracies. Well, I just got the new metal in. That's too shabby for the 5/8 stuff. It's got a better finish on it than the 1/2 inch. So here's the 5/8, and the 1/2 inch came in with this mill scale all over it. This is not bad. One of the things I learned about this milling attachment is that first thing I need to do is figure out the travel on it. And once I can figure out the travel, then I'll start the milling instead of milling and then figure out I don't have enough travel. And also, I know this is held in there not as securely as I would like. However, I'm going to be taking at the most 3/1000ths at a time, and it really worked out well. Also, not only is it really tight in that vise, but the gibs are tight. Everything is tight on it right now. And this thing is really surprising me at how well it's cutting. It's actually making nice little curly chips on there. I don't know if the camera can pick it up right now, but it really makes a nice little curly chip like a milling machine. Also, I figured out that you really have to be kind of accurate on how much you're cutting. So I use my little dial indicator holder down there and make sure that I'm cutting about the same time each time. And that's between 1 and 3/1000ths on it. What a wonderful finish that left. Very nice and smooth. Smooth, smooth, smooth. That's leaving a wonderful finish on there. It's got a pretty amazing finish on it. Just smooth as glass. Yeah. Now this is my roughest piece of metal, so I decided to see if I could mill it first, and once I milled it, then I cleaned it up. And now it's time to get it dialed in and do some precision machining on this part. And don't worry guys, I'm not clamped down tight on that parallel at all. Guys, it's not easy for me to show my mistakes, but see that? Yep, the ugly. Now I had to re-indicate it back in, but I had just not tightened down things like I should. I just loosely tightened it, got it all dialed in, but forgot to do the final tightening, and so it jumped on me, as you saw there. I know, pretty fancy here with this double angle, huh? Just doing some experimenting with some camera angles there. But you can see that the part there is in there just a little bit off. I think that's coming with the saw cut, so it's a little cutting on one side more than the other until it gets fully level. But what I'm going to do is get this one side cleaned up and then flip it around, do some measuring, and get it all cleaned up. I was really concerned about how square this was going to be, so once that one side got done and I saw that it was square, I was so excited. Now after measuring, I check with the print and see what I have to cut off. So I need 49/1000ths off of there, so I put a hash mark there at 49. Inch 8/1000th. 4" 2/1000. So I'll indicate that in and try to get that thing at 4 inches even. Alright, to try to correct this error, there's 2/10ths high and 8/1000ths high, so difference is 6. So what I did is I rechucked it and try to get it to be exactly what it is, which is this at 0 and this to be about 6/1000ths high. And I got it to around right to 5 and some change. So we're going to call that good, and we're going to mill off 2/1000ths from that side and 8/1000ths from this side. See how that works. Guys, I don't believe it. Who is it that says a novice can't get pretty good results? Check that out. That's dead on 4 inches. And let's see the other side. Oh, about a half a thousandth high. So we're way within tolerance. I'm extremely, actually that's, when you get it down on the end, it's right there. Can't believe it. Got lucky. Got lucky and got that dead on 4 inches. Wow. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. Now we got one dimension, and I wasn't gonna mess with the factory finish, but I see a couple of, like, looks like it's been hit there, and that's why I took the big dimension and got it to 4 inches, and that leaves me now being able to take the 4-inch side, what it came with, and take it to the 394. So we'll get that squared up in the vise and get that to dimension. And now I'm indicating the factory edge there. +1 and +1/2. A 0 and 0 that way, actually 1/2. So that's good. I got it tightened down now. Well, I'm a little scared, but here goes the factory edge. Not only is this thing cutting nice little curly chips, but you can see it's cutting nice and true all the way across. Okay, time to see how this thing has turned out. I think I got about 10 to 12 more thousandths to take off to take it to 940 on that dimension. So let's see how we did so far. This is about 954, 950, yeah, 954.5 or so. This is 952. So 952 and 954, so about 2 thousandths difference. So I will add that bias when I clamp it down, and I'll write that on here. What this is 2 thousandths higher, and about how much we need to take off, which is to get it to 940. We got about 12 to 15 thousandths to go. Okay, now there's a little parallax error on the camera I can see, so it's lined up right on around 0, and that's what we want on this side. We want it biased 2 thousandths high on the other side, and when we shave that off it'll make it even. So I just got it in the vise, I've got it tightened in the vise, and there's about 2 thousandths bias, just like we need it. Alright, and this is what I've got. Let's see, on this side we have 940 on the nose. On this side we have 941. I'll take it. I will take it. Actually, that's about 940 1/4. Yoo-hoo! Alright, one dimension down, the cube is set. After laying out just a couple of lines on here for reference, I decided to get this thing into the chuck, get it in there, and take my time and get that thing zeroed out on both of those axes there, and then get it in there where the
face of it is flat as well, so it's not only is it square, but it's in plane. And then you can get some accurate cutting and some accurate dimensions done.
Might be a little difficult to see, but we've got 0, 0, 0, 0. Booyah! Alright, now we can start machining it. Alright, the first thing I want to do is to get a hole drilled in that thing, because that'll help me to locate it next time when I pull it out of there. So it's time to get a hole.
Well, from practicing on that other piece, I kind of think I got my tool selection about right for how to get a good finish on here and get the face of this faced off nice. Now, originally I thought I knew the one dimension, and I was wrong. So I know I got a little meat left on there. So I went on and faced off the whole thing, and now I'm going to start bringing the dimensions into play. So I'm still doing the roughing in dimensions, but you can see I'm trying to get it a little bit closer. So I'm starting to refine my rough cuts and getting them closer to the finished dimensions. Now it's time to turn my attention to the center hole and the bored out part.
What I'm going to do here is touch the top of that lip with the with the tool. Now I'm going to crank in 100. There's 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, and I'm going to give it like 41.5. And now I'm going to use my carriage stop, which looks remarkably close to a pair of vice grips, because it is. Now the carriage stops it with the vice grips over here at 142. Alright.
I'm going to say this several times on this video, but this dimension here scares me. And the reason why is it has such a tight tolerance. It's just a plus or minus 1,000. With the 5,000s, I'm pretty comfortable on, but the plus or minus 1 is scaring me, especially on that bore. So I'm really scared of this. As I start doing my depth measuring, it becomes very clear that I'm going to need a more accurate way of measuring the depth on this project. So I'm getting different readings, different methods, so I'm going to have to go to Shars and buy myself a depth micrometer.
Well, there's a little slight problem here. This dimension in here is so critical. I'm so scared of it. It's only plus or minus 1/1000. But the problem is this thing is rounded, and to get it in there, looks like I'm going to have to go like 150 thousandths. So 100 thousandths deeper than what it is, just to get it, those round edges on there, to be able to get in there and touch in the center of it. So, luckily, this is thick enough that I've got about 100 thousandths play that I can take everything down 100, take that down 100 thousandths so I can measure it correctly, and then bring down this dimension and this dimension, and that should leave us right on dimension on the other part. But man, I'm scared to do that. Really scared to do that, because that gives me no wiggle room. So I reset it for 60 more thousandths, and that should make the gauge fit, snap gauge fit down in there, and also that should give me about 40 thousandths wiggle room on this dimension. So fingers crossed. Okay, it looks like it fits now, and I'm miking this baby at 1 inch 478. I'm kind of stuck on trying to figure something out, so I'm going to work on something else. Alright, went to Shars and got myself some depth mics. A depth mic, that is. Depth mic. And now I'm going to try to see what this hole is measuring. 215 thousandths. 215. Well, got another little issue popped up. I'm starting to get to where I'm hitting the aluminum on the soft jaws, and it's taking off aluminum and putting it on here, kind of rubbing it on there. So I got to figure that out now. Trying all different kinds of blades and angles, because this is starting to get to where it's getting down to dimension, and I want to try to get a good finish out here as well. So anyway. Okay, with the standard, it is dead on. So now I'm going to measure this baby and see what we get, and we're going to just inch up on that dimension. Like I've said several times, this dimension scares me. So I've been taking so many little light passes, and like just finish every pass is like a finishing pass. I've got about 20 thousandths to go, and what I'm doing is letting all the spring get out of it too. So I'm just going back and forth. So that's all the spring out of that. Now we'll take it another thousandths or so. Okay, 11 thousandths to go, and I'm trying to take it a thousandths per side each time. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, time to measure. Lather, rinse, repeat. Well, I cranked in a half a thou. Let's see what happens. I'm showing 651 and a half, which is, whoo, just a tolerance. I did it. I'll be doggone. Got it within tolerance. Room temperature too. Alright, onward. Well, the only thing to do on this side is to bring this lip down to 100 thousandths. So we'll measure that out and get her done. Guys, what I've been doing to make, and it's pretty effective so far for my depths and stuff, is I'll zero this out by touching it. And I wanted to go 104, so I dial in the 104 and then put my vice grips over there and then make sure I test it. And actually I dialed in 103, give myself a thousandths. And so let's get this, before we do that though, at least we got that set. I want to measure this exterior one. And then we'll cut that. Then we'll take it to depth, because this gives me a little bit more meat to bite onto. Couple thou. So I think I'm going to try to get that a little closer. Not too shabby. Well, this is the final dimension before we unchuck it, so wish me luck, boys. Moment of truth time. Let's see, we've got it's 105, so that's within tolerance, and so that's 100, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, ooh, 39. So that's within tolerance. I think I might take this down just a little bit more. I'm terrified, but moment of truth. Now I'm going to try to unchuck it right here, because I got to chuck it back up on the other side to get the other hole. But what I'm going to try to do is make as little work for me as possible in resetting it by just opening the tube between this strip. Hopefully that'll help me to get it back in there. Get my little soft jaw things. Oops, let me loosen a little bit more. Okay. Got all four of my soft jaws. Excellent. So there she is. I'm going to try to polish out those tool marks as best I can. But we'll see. Now we're going to flip it over and get that little recess hole cut. Okay, I got this dialed in now and ready to bore out this next and last of the boring holes. Alrighty, showing 935. It's a 5 thousandths tolerance on there, and it's supposed to be 937, so it's within 2 thousandths. So I'm going to color that one good. Now the 4 holes. Oh, that's the other side. So this must be the 4. Yeah. Alright, so there's the 4-inch side. And now I need to come up 31 thousandths on both sides of that. So let's go down, get 31 thousandths. Okay, like that. That can't be 31 thousandths. Okay, the dimension's right. I'm wrong. I need 310 thousandths, not 31. So let's see. We'll unlock that. So 100, 200, 300. We need 310. So we'll lock this. Get that baby dead on. There we go. So 310. And now we're going to mark that here. And here. And we'll flip it over. And mark it here. And here. Okay. That's a good one. Hey guys, I'd like to share a couple of lessons learned on this. First of all, this is at the ragged edge of what this lathe can do. And if you take your time, small cuts, you can get her done. Anyway, if I could do my order of operations again, I think the first dimension I'd have tackled is, once I got the block squared up, to tackle the most critical dimension, which was that plus or minus 1,000th. And that's just because I had so many hours into this piece by the time I tackled that if I'd have screwed that up, I'd have wasted a whole bunch of time. So it might have been better to do that first, and if I screw that dimension up, then scrap that piece and start all over, and not waste a lot of days and a lot of hours on this. Anyway, that was extremely challenging, but extremely rewarding. I know what the lathe can do now. I know that I can do a couple things by dimension now. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next episode of Journey to Journeyman.